Oh, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Roll the brand new intro. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another indie show review slash Barrie Wrestling review slash specialist review slash whatever you want to call it. I don't know what we call it nowadays. I am your host, Dan DP Dupreezy. Again, whatever you want to call me, that is my name. But of course, we are here to talk about a special show. A show that is 100 shows in the making. Or also 100 years in the making. 100 shows in the making. It's, of course, Barrie Wrestling 100 ahead by a century. Now, of course, with the Barrie Wrestling reviews, you've seen I've, dug into the Barrie Wrestling universe. I've pulled out the commentator. I pulled out the ring announcer. I pulled out even one of the wrestlers. But now, for Barrie Wrestling 100, we've gone right to the back. We have got ourselves someone who is so heavily involved in everything Barrie Wrestling. Possibly even the brainchild of this person. I am, of course, joined by the one and only Shawn Gibson. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Thank you for agreeing to come on. Honestly, it's such a different thing asking an owner to come on for the show.
No, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's great, and like you pointed out, any chance I get to rep some Everton merchandise on a UK podcast, I'll do it any day of the week. I just lost about half your audience from Liverpool, so yeah.
Don't worry, you don't hear about an hour, guys. Don't worry, come back an hour later. No, I'm kidding. Please stay. Liverpool fans, you can stay.
We'll talk slowly. We'll talk slower for them. Yeah.
Oh no.
This is great banter. It really is.
I'm not even a football fan. I'm the wrong co-host for this. Oh. But no, of course we're here to talk about wrestling, not about Everton FC. So that all yours come back now. Don't worry, you can come back in now. But of course, before we actually get into the show, of course, this is a real opportunity to speak with yourself. I thought I might as well throw a couple questions your way, see if we get some answers. So firstly, as I mentioned in the intro, is Barrie Wrestling your brainchild? Is it from your mind?
Yeah, it is. It is to an extent. When where it's out of is my home church at the gymnasium. So when I was a reporter in Barrie, in the city of Barrie, and a guy was running a wrestling promotion, and he needed a venue. I reported on the event, so he needed a venue, and I said, well, my church has a gym. So he started coming there with his company. It was PWE, and he was there for about 2 years. It started falling off. The crowds were dying out. It wasn't working. And my pastor is also just like a good friend of mine, and he said, you should do this. You're a wrestling fan. And so we did. I said, let's do it. I asked the guy for his blessing. He's like, yeah, go ahead. And so he stopped I think his farewell show was August of 2014. And my first show was November 1st, 2014. In that time, with the first show, we used the name PWE for familiarity. But our next show was January 31st of 2015. We dropped the name, went Barrie Wrestling, and but from November of 2014, it's been me in kind of what I came up with. And I say this right away is with a lot of help from so many people, right? We got a great team, but also the wrestlers. We have a very open situation where they, if they have an idea, like, I want to hear it, right? They're the ones that are on the road all the time. They get to see crowds and know what they're feeling. So, but yeah, Barrie Wrestling was started off by me. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And you said already that the first show was in 2015 January. Is that under the
Oh well,
Barrie Wrestling banner?
2014.
Or
We do go by 2014. So like
okay,
the first show run by us was 20. And I only say that because in November of this year it'll be 10 years of us. So
right,
that's why I mentioned that. Yeah.
okay, fair enough. So I know previously I think it's been off recordings I've done with other guests with Barrie Wrestling, but there's always been mention of the original videos for the first shows don't exist anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
just wanted to get it from essentially your side of things. Why is that the case?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. No doubt.
I want to watch them.
Yeah, no, it's essentially what happened when we first started out. Not every company was filming shows, and the truth is, when I started doing it, it was only a way to. I saw a way to reach my community and to have kids like when I was a kid, I loved wrestling, and it was just a way to have families be able to come in, have an affordable Saturday night, um, and open the doors to my church. Really, like I mean, we don't push religion, we don't talk about religion, but it was the gymnasium at my church. So that's all it was. Getting footage and accumulating footage wasn't something I was worried about, and also we weren't really. We don't make money. We're not looking to make money off of it, so there wasn't any need to. The odd wrestler would bring up every now and then, "Hey, we should start filming. We should start filming." I was gonna take a sip of water.
Mhm.
Von Vertigo actually he pushed all the time for footage. Um, when the pandemic hit, uh, it was evident that we needed some kind of footage. We filmed a couple shows with no audience. Here in Canada, we weren't allowed to have any crowds to watch a wrestling show, but you could film an empty arena show with just the wrestlers. The Ontario's the province we're in, so Ontario's rules were crazy. In the US, they were wrestling, and a Canadian wrestler could come down there and wrestle, except we couldn't cross the border to go there. So it was a little crazy. So long story, I started filming, and it was actually Mark Wheeler. I don't know if you've probably don't have him on the show, but Mark Wheeler is a heck of a talent, and he told somebody on a podcast once that Barrie Wrestling was the best wrestling in Ontario that no one's ever seen. And I thought, he's right. We got to we have to get footage. It was also to Young Jay Lee. He's such a good talent, and I see Daniel Garcia on AEW, and Daniel was the guy. He was with us all the time, and we have barely any footage of him. And I kept looking at Young Jay Lee, and I thought, I am not letting that happen with him, so I got to get some footage. So between Mark Wheeler and Von Vertigo and Young Jay Lee, I decided it's time to get some filming done. There is some footage on our YouTube channel. It's just not very good. So
Hey you. Yeah, you. Do you like this video? There is a button. It's a very sexy button. It says subscribe on it. I wish I could click on it, but YouTube won't let me. Damn fuckers.
Yeah, that is absolutely fair. Yeah. I think I vaguely recall Vaughan, like when I did my Indie Spotlight interview with him. It weren't particularly about Barrie Wrestling, about his career in general. But I vaguely recall him mentioning it as well. Like it was him and someone else. I think probably Mark Wheeler, as you said, but yeah, who mentioned it to you? But
yeah, it was every now and then they'd bring it up and say, "Hey man, we should do this," and at the time we didn't have the money to do that, and now we're able to. We're treating it more like a business in the sense of how we organize and structure. So yeah, I think it's the best thing. I love our footage, and Alan Taylor does a great job with it. And yeah, it's a great team.
yeah, absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And it's that little that gem, that slogan, like the Ontarian wrestling you've never seen.
Yeah, it really stuck me, and I knew that Mark meant it in a good way, but it made me realize, yeah, nobody's seen these matches, and it's a testament to the wrestlers. They did not have to stay loyal to us. Other people were filming shows. They chose to be with us every weekend, and that made me think too. Like, this is for them. Like, we're gonna pay them back, get the footage on IWTV, and let everybody see them.
Precisely, and that's also part of the reason why I, reached out to Barrie Wrestling, because it was not necessarily saying I agree with the statement. It's just I think Barrie Wrestling is quite a hidden gem, because IWTV is far and beyond the biggest indie wrestling platform available.
Sure.
So obviously you guys are on there, and that's great, but it can sort of become a bit overwhelming with all the other companies across America and Europe, and who are also putting their shows on IWTV. So that's why, in the grand scheme of things, I would personally say Barrie Wrestling's a hidden gem.
That's awesome.
It's not necessarily a show that you would go out your way to look for, but it's something you can come across, like I did, going through Indie Extravaganza series. And the only reason I found the show is because I thought it was Welsh wrestling. And it was like, oh, cool, Born Burgers on this card in Wales randomly.
That's fantastic.
So it was this case of, cool, he's on this show with, I think I reckon there's one other name on this card. Other than that, I don't know anyone else. So it's going to be a learning experience.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, and that's what I think about us too is, we look at I look at shows in the U.S. like Prestige, or then there's Defy all over the world, and all these other companies, and I'm like, we got talent on that show that is on our show, and so you sometimes wonder what it takes to put you over that edge and be bigger, but I realize that we're right where we should be. It's a lot of fun when people discover us, for sure.
So this is a show review.
No way. Go ahead.
So is that the reason why most of I think all shows actually are held in the FLCC? Because the church background, or was that the church itself?
That's that gym. So actually, what it is it's a gymnasium that we're in, and then when the shows are, because they're Saturday nights, so when the show's over, the ring gets torn down. We sweep up. My wife and I, we sweep, we clean up, and then the chairs go up, and it's ready for church the next day. So, a lot of people will come for wrestling, and they'll be like, "So where's the church?" I'm like, "Well, as soon as this is gone, we set up all the chairs." So it makes for a long night. But that's just, a lot of people have said we got to get a bigger venue, because we keep selling out. We've hit capacity, but I'm not really interested. It doesn't make any sense for us to do that. Once in a while, we might look at holding a show at a bigger venue for a charity thing or something, but the FLCC is home, so.
Absolutely, and as it's better to stick to your roots and remain loyal in a sense to that venue. I know venues ain't got feelings, but it's just that spiritual sort of level, like that connection you have with the venue, and just
for sure.
I think maybe it's the acoustics that make it really good. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But no, of course, this is a show review. This is meant to be for a show. This is not necessarily about the origins of Barrie Wrestling. But to be fair, with you here, I'd probably do that for hours on end. That questions about the origins. But we're not here for that right now. Maybe in a future video. Who knows? But as they're already Barrie Wrestling 100 ahead by a century, 100 shows, not 100 years, like I originally was going to say. So without any further ado, I probably just kick things off really and just get into the actual show review and what went down. So we kick things off, sold out venue as you already alluded to, which is insane. Kicking off things though with the Rajan Husher Invitational, which is of course an homage to his mentor Vaughn Vertigo. So of course Rajan's out here, he's ready for his opponent. Might just be supposed to comment about the painting being a tag partner. And of course out comes music that I personally didn't recognise. I think a couple of fans did recognise the music. And then obviously out comes the guy on the intro video. I'm like, he's the guy at the end of the intro video. I don't know who he is though. And it's like, oh, this is Golden Gun Mark Wheeler. I was like, I've seen him before on like previous shows, but I didn't connect the dots in my head.
For sure.
But yeah, he's been out for months. He's back now. He's been out for months with an ankle injury. He last appeared for you guys, Barrie Wrestling, I think it was June 2023.
Yeah, it was mid last year. Yeah, it was a pretty rough injury.
Yeah. I mean, the question had to be asked as well before even, was Mark Wheeler in good enough condition to be on this card, be in this match, let alone win it? But he certainly answered on both counts. Rajan spent most of the match with methodical, intentional targeting of the ankle, which, made sense. But Wheeler would pick up the win ultimately, almost out of nowhere with the revolver, which is for those who aren't aware, it's like a ripcord reverse DDT, which I think it's probably the best way of putting it. There might be a better, traditional wrestling term way of putting it. I don't know it, though.
Oh, that might be neither. But yeah, the board, you described it perfectly, so...
Thank you. I paid the match 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I've previously been skeptical, or maybe a little outspoken, about Rajan Husha matches, just purely because I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of just, to me, he's not standout, and that is something that is absolutely something that we worked on. That's something that comes with time. He's nothing bad about him. It's just
for sure.
It's just he don't stand out right now to me. He's sort of the underling to Vaughn Vertigo.
Yeah, that's a good thing that you said too. And it's key, right? Because what you say right now, especially, he's fairly new. He's only been at it for a very small time, so he's still a rookie. But when I saw his promos, I was like, oh my gosh, let's give this kid a chance. And like you said, the right now thing, he's definitely at least with us being paced. And I'm sure the reins will be taken off him soon, and he'll be able to go at it. But yeah, dead on for sure.
Fantastic. I'm glad you agree, because I was worried about saying that. So obviously he did those shady, he did the tactics, but they weren't shady. They were just a bit cruel. That's the way of putting it. Not illegal though by any means in the wrestling world. But meanwhile, Wheeler had the unyielding support of the crowd and the fans, which powered him on and to get the win in the end. He's back. Is he going to be targeting a title belt soon within Barrie Wrestling? Who knows? At this point,
knowing him, he probably will. But yeah,
yeah. Coming up next after this, we had the initially 6, but now 5 persons Rock 95 Scramble. Ali couldn't be in this due to injury, so wishing speedy recovery to Ali. It's top tier talent though. They're out here first, and Nova's back, so that is always a good thing to see Nova back on the show. Clay Wilson gets the mic, which is already a bad thing, and he's initially struggling to get a word out because it's like, if you're familiar with just modern day mainstream wrestling, Clay Wilson heat in the FLCC is like Dominic Mysterio.
It's insane. It's insane. And honestly, I don't know. I know how it plays when I watch back the video, but in the building, you can't hear him. They boo him so hard, you can't hear him. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. Thank God for video editing. I mean, I'll be honest, I couldn't make out part of the promo that he says to Nova. He mentions that obviously about how everyone's here, top to talent, himself, Kaz Jordan, Julian Ward, the Australian Takeover, and Nova very clearly separated her from the statement. And then he goes on to mention, he said something about her traveling, I think it is, about her traveling with them or something like that. I couldn't make that bit out because it was just the crowd was so loud. But initially he does say that she's not top tier talent right now, due to her absenteeism. Is that a word? Absence.
It is a word. Yeah.
But he's got a business arrangement with Carl Boone from the Royal Family. Boo. So Nova should let Carl win the scramble match, and sure enough, like on cue, Carl Boone comes out with Grizzly Mac. Of course, they're both in the scramble match coming up, and they're accompanied by, of course, the Queen, Shiloh, the Queen of Barrie. Carl shakes hands with Australian Takeover and Clay beforehand, and then Clay walks off, abandoning Nova. So the scramble match itself was the five-way. So we had Nova, Carl Boone, Grizzly Mac, Boris Krobos, and Eli Surge. Eli Surge is someone who I've never heard of, but I know now he's Bigfoot's best friend.
He is something else. He is. It's the first time I met him. He's from Western Canada, so he was in town that weekend, and that's a heck of a gimmick. That's something else.
Is he, in your opinion, as a Canadian yourself, is he a fair representation of Western Canada?
Oh, my thoughts on Western Canada. That would be something. I'll take the high road on that. No, you know what? They're a different bunch out there. I wouldn't say they're all Bigfoot believers, but they are odd. They are an odd bunch. But he's right into that gimmick so much that it was funny that. And just I'll do a side note for you. Is you and I were talking before, and I mentioned I work at the city of Barrie, and in the mayor's office, and there was a contest from the city, a legitimate contest, and they wanted the city to vote, residents to vote on the city bird. We don't have a bird, an official bird, and so I was sharing the contest, and the contest was being shared, and I was trying to hype it up, and like out of nowhere, I didn't even realize that he commented on it. And he's like, "Shawn, I was just in Barrie, and I've already told you birds aren't real," and I was like, that was so hilarious. The city staff were like, what's he talking about? Like, he's a good character for sure.
I legit remember on my way home from work, I was on the bus and just going through Twitter, and I saw the tweet from you about the bird competition, and I was like, what is it? And I was like, I'm looking at it, and there's a guy called Eli Surge. I was like, I don't know who this is. Like, so it's obviously just some random Twitter poster. It's like, like, I told you already, the birds aren't real. I was like, what?
Yeah, he's a strange guy. But it worked. It was a heck of a gimmick.
But yeah, sure enough, he does come out with a sign that says the birds aren't real. And I was like, oh, I get it now. It's like that light bulb moment. It's like, but of course, Eli Surge is certainly a unique look in Barrie Wrestling. He's got a lot of tin foil.
Yeah, tinfoil hats for everybody.
Yeah, but including the guy at the back of the front like entranceway ramp area.
Yes.
Yeah, he was wearing that hat throughout the rest of the show. So we completely accept that. Eli tries to get everyone to wear tinfoil hats. Boris obliges. So does Nova, kind of. And Carl wants nothing to do with it. Grizzly's sort of tempted, but Carl's like, no.
Yeah.
Also, side note as well for this, I mentioned it to Tyler and Mike before, and neither of them had any idea. That's just an idea. I have no idea if it's accurate or not. Do you have any idea why he's called Boris Krobos? Like surname Krobos.
Yeah, no, for sure. I had to ask him too, but so Boris, just the name he has, but Krobos, he's part Croatian, part Bosnian. So he took the crow and the Bos. Yeah, is that what you thought?
That's what I thought. I saw his gear. I know both flags. I'm quite a flag nut. Like, side note again, but I'm quite. Yeah. I love flags of countries and stuff, so I recognized straight away. And I was like, is he European? Or is he like descendant European?
Yeah, his descent. Yeah, he's got relatives, I suppose. But yeah, part Croatian, part Bosnian. So
sweet. That is sweet. Yeah, but it's just every time. I remember I mentioned before to Mike and Tyler, and neither of them was well aware of it. So I was like, sweet. But then I went to be like, actually, no, it's not that at all. I was like, oh, okay. But of course, back to the match itself. The tin foil. The tinfoil hats last all about 5 seconds when the bell rings. They're almost instantly gone. So in regards to the match itself, a deal was made and was ignored as Nova wins the match, following throwing Carl Boone out of the ring to steal a pinfall victory over Boris, I believe it was. Nova has her eyes seemingly on Shiloh and the women's title, which makes sense. But I do wonder, is there going to be any sort of reaction or comeback from Kay Wilson and Australian Takeover? Which is, she sort of, I don't know, made her intentions clear, I guess, and chose her allegiance. But saying that she might still want to be part of Top Tier Talent and just didn't agree with that deal.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we're gonna have to wait and see for our next couple shows, because who knows what she's thinking or what they're thinking now.
Absolutely. The match though, I enjoyed it. I rated 2 and 3/4 stars. I will say, I think this is my lowest rated. Oh no, it's not actually. It's not. It's the second lowest rated match. But I enjoyed it. I'd never heard of Eli Surge before this match, and he's probably the person I remember most from this match, just due to his unique look. Bigfoot's best friends have got a new follower, and it's me. I believe in Bigfoot. But like I said already, the main point of one is going to be Nova and Top Tier Talent and Shiloh. That's the main talk about out of this. I don't think Carl and Grizzly are too affected by this because they'll have their own thing going forward, I imagine. But yeah, decent enough, and we move on. So we have the first of... Is it the first? Yeah, it's first. The first of a couple of international imports for the show. We have the Barrie Wrestling Three Pistols Championship, a title that is usually defended in triple threats or three-way dances, or what you want to call it. And it's defended here in a singles match. As champion Vaughn Vertigo defends against Amir Jordan, who's probably famously most known for being part of WWE through the NXT UK side promotion.
Yeah.
Amir Jordan was probably one of the... I'd say one of like the mid-tier standout guys. Just because of his heritage and his descendancy and how he brought that into his wrestling. Obviously, he's called the Karachi Kid as well, which is all related in that sense. Of course, Vaughn, though, he comes out with his luggage in a suitcase, and he's not in ring gear. He's wearing joggers and just his normal jacket, which I guess is what he wears on the street. He says he's not feeling well and doesn't want to be here. He wants to go home, and he hands a doctor's note to referee Brad Myers. It's revealed that the note was signed by Dr. S. Gibson.
Yeah, I did not sign anything. I'm definitely not a doctor either. So
yeah, I was going to ask you, do you have a doctorate or like?
Yeah, he was up to no good for sure.
That settles it. or are you in cahoots?
Yeah. It was me, Austin. Yeah.
It was me, but no, Vaughn goes to leave, but Amir has none of it. Basically just says, like, you think I came all the way to Ontario just to another match. He goes to chase Vaughn, chases him outside, literally. And at one point I thought there's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere sort of deal.
Right.
So I was a little disheartened when I found out it wasn't, but it's fine. But yeah, ultimately, the match was underway, and despite not being in ring gear, Vaughn does not miss a step.
Yeah, he never does. Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately he wins, just because Amir tried it too many times. He tried to go for that finishing move too many times, and it cost him eventually. So yeah, he retains the Group Pistol title with a Shining Wizard, which I was talking to Mike quite recently about the Shining Wizard that connected with Amir Jordan, and the replay, like in the match itself, you can't see it that well, but in the replay that you show it, because it sort of zooms in to the Shining Wizard, and then the connection of the knee to Amir Jordan's face.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It's bad. Yeah. It's fucked up. Yeah.
Of course, Amir, was great in this as well. Did I say what I rated it? If not, I rated it 3 stars. The helping hand from Rajan Hasha was also a factor in this. Even though it was quite limited interaction from Rajan, it still helped distract Amir enough to get Vaughn the victory. So yeah, Vaughn has defended his title, and we move on to a handicap match. Outcome Top Tier Talent again. This is not the last time you'll see him. Australian Takeover. Kaz Jordan and Julian Ward. Of course, Kaz Jordan is not related to Amir Jordan, as much as we know, anyway. Taking on the team of Pretty Ricky Wilde, and that's it. Ricky comes out. He claims he's been battling litigation to try and get Puff back to Barrie, but the royal family have been proactive in making sure that didn't happen. Ricky's been all over the place, but with no luck. The Royal family have essentially they have final say over anything with Barry, supposedly.
Well, definitely with Ricky. It was a stipulation, so they've got say with Ricky right now. It's a tough one.
But Ricky been given the chance to find a partner of his own. So he asks, in general, is there anyone who could be his partner? To which, surprisingly, quite a few fans do raise their hands.
That often happens. Yeah.
And then Ricky's like, actually, no, I meant people with wrestlers' licenses. Just like anyone in the back who wants to help me. No one answers, and then Takeover do just jump him, and then the match gets officially underway. Oh wait, no, sorry, I missed it. Sorry. So he asks him backstage who can help him, and then suddenly we hear Puff's theme song. You know, story of a girl. Has he managed to find his way back into Barry? Is he back? Is Triple Dragon back for one night only? No, they're not. It's the Raw family.
I guess.
They come out again. They mock Ricky, and then Straight Together then jump Ricky. So yeah, I guess that is an alliance. Raw family and Top Tier Talent.
Yeah.
After about 5 minutes of surprisingly back and forth action in the match, despite the 2-on-1 advantage, Ricky finally has help in the form of former Barrie Wrestling World Champion and Wild Child and current Impact Wrestling star Jody Fret.
Yes. Jody's awesome. She's been with us for so long. It was good to have her back.
Absolutely. And I saw someone post and I was like, why is she not booked for this show? But yeah, no, she is absolutely. She's here, and she does her full on like run to the ring entrance, like it's full on hype, full on Wild Child. You love to see it. So yeah, the team of Pretty Ricky and Jody Fret now win following a pop shove it and a rigmarole elbow drop on Kaz Jordan. I ultimately rated this 2.5 stars. Most of the match was a handicap match, and then Jody, I'd almost call it unfairly, gets involved to assist and ultimately give Ricky the win. However, I digress on that. Despite the circumstances, I can enjoy it because it's top tier talent they're facing, so I'm fine with it. I enjoy what I saw, and I'm more intrigued to see what happens at the next show now with Ricky and the Raw family, just because he's once again avoided the wrath, so be it, of the Raw family. Despite what they're trying to do to him, and he's still fighting back. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward.
It's going to be very interesting, I'm sure, in the next few months. Definitely.
Absolutely. So moving on from that, we went to the 5th match of the night, and the first, I believe, of the feature attraction matches, which was between Gabriel Fuerza, El Diablo, and how was it again? Is Los Solo Cuerno? Is it something like that?
Yeah, Ultima Sombra.
Ultima Sombra, yes. Belgian wrestler, who I must bring it up because Mike just asked me and I was like, I don't know. He asked me before the show, what do you know about Rivality, about Ultima Sombra and MBM? And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know much about the Canadian scene right now. And it was just horrible because it was like, I knew the name, but it was like, I didn't know much else.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, they're European. I was like, are they? I was like, that makes me look even worse.
Very talented. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I just knew very little about him, so thanks, Matt Jeffries, for calling me out on that. Gabriel Fuerza wins though with the Witcher lock, but a variation of it that was deeper and angled, going to show Fuerza's tactility and adaptiveness. I rated it 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's not hard to. It's hard not to. Sorry. If you like pro wrestling, this is one of the matches you should absolutely go out and check out. Like, even if you don't watch the entire show, like, there's a section of matches you should watch.
Yeah.
This was really good. I recommend, like I said, I recommend it on IWTV. I keep forgetting the code you guys have for IWTV.
Oh, Barrie 400.
That's the one. Barrie 400. I'll put it on the screen in big text here. But yeah, there's not much else to say here. I hope Sombra does come back to Barrie, because
Yeah, so do
He's
I. Yeah.
like even like it's just I don't know. It's something about the Barry crowds that they're rowdy and they're loud and they can show their appreciation. You know, good guy or bad guy, for these newer guys who come in who are not necessarily known to the audiences, but they still get a warm welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sombra's a great wrestler. Like I regret not looking more into him before, and yeah, I mean now I'm gonna look more into it. That's the main takeaway from it.
Yeah, he was great to have him and MBM both. But I was looking forward to that match when we booked it. I was dying to see it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. We go forward now. In something that I'm a little bit concerned about. We did get a concerning video that airs. I don't know if fans saw this live. I imagine probably not.
We showed it live. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You did. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just got the video. The video feed on WTV that doesn't appeal that way. So it just sort of
for sure.
Yeah. Fair enough. So yeah, this airs on the IWTV stream, which shows Puff. Puff mentions that he's stuck because he can't be at the show due to the schedule because of the royal family, which checks with what we heard earlier from Ricky. He then reveals that he's kidnapped Anthony Russo.
It's a felony. I don't know. It's not good.
No, he mentions, of course, people within there. He's like, I know where Anthony Russo lives. He's kidnapped Musso. He's got him tied to a chair. He's got him sort of not gagged. What's the word? Like tape over the mouth, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't really do much of a good job because you still hear Musso talk quite clearly through the tape.
Yeah. When he sent me that when I saw the video, because of our arena, because of our gym, it was loud. But obviously, Puff's a big fan of Reservoir Dogs because the songs in the background. Yeah. So that didn't look good for Musso, that's for sure.
No, not at all. Of course, we have seen since then some sort of agree or some sort of negotiation.
A Diet Coke and a half was all Musso was worth. So it's a heck of a stage.
I can see it.
Fair enough. I like Diet Coke.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm more Pepsi myself, but
there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, the last thing you see of this video is Puff laughing while holding a hammer up to Musso, indicating the bad things that are probably going to happen to Musso.
Yes. Yeah.
Not sure we should have aired that on live IWTV, but move on quite swiftly. Something that's not a felony. Move on to the next match of the night. It's the second feature attraction match between Alexia Nicole and Judas Icarus. This is the match, I'm going to be pretty honest, this is the match I'm looking forward to most. Like, when I saw it on the announce card and the posters and stuff, I was like, this is going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm very familiar with Judas Icarus from his like prestige work as well. Like,
they're both fantastic. Like, Alexia Nicole is like next level. Like, not even in Ontario, it's not, the conversation isn't like, it's funny because I think everybody just knows. It's not that Alexia Nicole's the best women's wrestler we have. She's one of the best wrestlers in Ontario.
Yeah.
Like in the country. She's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And Judas, I love Judas too, but yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I mean, Alexia Nicole had, I think, my favorite match in Barrie Wrestling from 2023. Her and Trent Seven.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I thoroughly loved that match.
Yeah, it was great.
But this match here is, I'll be honest, it's not as good as the Trent Seven match, but it's very good still. Fantastic match. I rated it 4.25 star. Alexia wins with the power drive her. Like I said, I'm familiar with Judas through Prestige Wrestling, where he shines there, and Alexia through Barrie Wrestling and through C4 and other places like that. And they both have absolute barn burners matches. This is not one of the matches that I'd recommend you go out your way to watch, because like it's just like you could say to someone easily, "Oh, go check out Company A, go check out Company B." Like if you say to someone, "Check out this match at this company at this show," then it's sort of like it's more direct. It feels more
right.
Like you have to see it.
Yeah.
And this is something that I would recommend anyone go see. Same with like Ultima Sombra. Nicole Icarus is up there as well. And I'd personally rate that high. I'd say that's more a priority than Further Sombra.
For sure.
Like this is fantastic. I loved it.
It's next level. Good stuff.
Yeah, but let's run it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Judas is a West Coast guy. He's a Western Canada guy. So whenever he's around, we try to bring him in.
Again, you have to wonder, like a similar boat to Nova. You have to wonder, is Alexa going after Barrie Wrestling gold soon? Like it's something that I'd say she's probably heading towards. We're giving her level of work.
I think it's one of those inevitable. I think a lot of fans watching are going, I see where this is. This she needs some gold. So she's a special talent for sure.
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not comparing it to the same thing or saying it is the same thing, but people were obviously saying before Jesse V became world champion that he was on that road having that world title match.
Yeah.
So I think it's a similar sort of vein with Alexa Nicole here. She's on that road, and whatever title it is, I don't know, but
no, I agree for sure. She'll definitely be going for some gold soon.
I mean, her and Vaughn Berger would be I would love that match.
Yeah, that would be a good, and they've known each other for so long too. I mean, her first and Vertigo came up together, so that would be something else.
But we move on from one epic match to another. We go to the freeway penultimate match. We have the freeway Clay Wilson, Van Landen, and the other half of Rivality, MBM. What does the MBM stand for? I have no idea.
I'm not sure either.
It's another one of those things where it's just like, I don't know much about them, and they're European, so I feel bad because I'm European. But obviously, on the other side of things, you've got the two other polar opposites in Barrie Wrestling. You've got Van Landen, who is absolutely adored and loved by the crowds and by TCO because TCO's biased. And you've got Clay Wilson on the other side, who's absolutely hated by the crowds and by TCO because TCO's biased. I'd argue Clay Wilson's probably the most hated individual within Barrie Wrestling, and I know that's
sorry, and I was going to say that too, is he won the most hated of the year 2 years in a row. And this past year, it was very close, but it ended up being Shiloh and Kyle that won it. But it was very close. He's hated completely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I can see why. I think the main difference was Kyle won because of the Christmas Kane related shiv to Puff, who was a fan favourite. I think that's probably something to do with it. The match itself, Van Landen wins with a motorplex on Clay Wilson after delivering a brutal Death Valley driver on MBM on the apron. That looked really bad. Like sometimes in a good wrestling way.
Sometimes I think they do moves just to give me a heart attack. I think that's what they're. A lot of times they do stuff in that ring. I think it's just to give me a heart attack because I was like, what is he doing? Like, what is going on over there? But it was, but like you said, it was good. It was a good move. It was something else.
Like, it's not nothing like I'm not seeing before. It's just something you don't see often, and it's just spicy Van Landen pull out. It's not something that I thought not something that he could do. It's just something that I just didn't think he would do.
He doesn't use it often for sure.
But I rated it 3.5 stars. I really liked it. I was unfamiliar with MBM, as I've already said. But he sold me on his different offense. It's a mixture of hard-hitting, mixed with comedic elements. He knows when to take his shots and knows when to find them. As for Van and Clay, they always put on a good show for the audiences. They're mainstays of the Barrie Wrestling universe. You can always rely on them to have a good showing, no matter what the situation. But of course, Van does get the win here, which did catch me off guard, I have to admit. Going into this as a fan, I just thought Van Landen was the least likely, and he proved me wrong. So, fair play, Van Landen.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Of course, after the match, though, Van Allen does call his shot at the Three Pistols Championship. He does call it for one Vertigo. So
Yeah.
you have to wonder as well, where's Moon J. Lee in this conversation?
Yeah, and that's a huge story too for us, for our fans locally, because Van really was the guy. He was just a fan years ago. He was coming out to shows, buying a ticket. He asked if he could help with the ring. I said sure, so he was helping every show. And then I heard wind that he was trying to get trained, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So he was getting trained, and he was traveling. This won't be anything to you now, but if you look it up, he was traveling from Aurelia, which is just about 20 minutes north of Barrie, to Hamilton, which is about an hour south of Barrie. So he was doing that a couple times a week. He very serious about it. And when he was a fan, Vertigo was like his favorite wrestler. Like it was like he was always talking to Vertigo, asking questions. And now we've got this story of this kid who's been following Vertigo for years and now getting mistreated by him and wanting his title. So it's a really cool story that our fans are enjoying for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. It's something that you see he carries on his sleeve. Like he's so proud of where he is. He's it's such an honor to be, I guess, part of that journey now.
Yeah,
like it's just something to just pay witness to, and down the line, say a few years from now, he could be the next big Canadian prospect.
100%.
Like you never know. Like it could be anything can happen to anyone. But Van Landen's got his heart. He's got his heart in it, and that is amazing to see, just in action.
Absolutely. Agreed.
But we move on now from that, from the Three Pistols dilemma, to the Barrie Wrestling World Championship. Champion Jesse V taking on Brent Banks.
Yes.
This was also one of the matches that I was really looking forward to when I saw it announced.
I was so stoked about this.
The match was crazy.
Yeah. Very nice.
In a good way, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesse V retains with a clutch power through a door. Just to put it into perspective.
Through one of three doors. Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. So I rated it 3 3/4 stars. Very fun main event. Very crazy. Plenty of back and forth. Plenty of mixture of good and bad tactics. We saw doors. More doors. And then a third door. The first door was used on a referee, as Brad Myers went through it, courtesy of Brent Banks sidestepping and then just hitting him with a spear. Brad Myers has it bad. he got chokeslammed at a wedding. He
sometimes deserves it, but whatever. I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
It's part of the job, It's part.
Yeah, exactly.
The second door was then used by Jesse V on himself when he missed a running senton and crashed into it. So that's technically 2 doors he's crashed into now. And the third and final door was used for the clutch powerbomb into a corner leaning door, which he put Brent Banks through and technically himself. So he put himself through 3 doors.
It was a heck of a match. It was 3 doors was a lot, but
yeah, there was 3 doors, but there was not enough doors. It needed more door. But of course, with that ending, Jesse V is still world champion. Your ending scene is Jesse V with the world title. Can anyone stop him, realistically speaking?
Yeah, I don't know. He's so big and he's so agile. Like he is an absolute beast. It's a matter of time before he gets picked up. He has every tool, every tool you need. And I don't know who can beat him. I have no idea. I don't think there is anybody.
I think only one guy has beaten him, and that was before he was champion. So
yeah, Josh Alexander beat him with us, and that was it. That was a heck of a match. So yeah.
Maybe time to bring Josh back. And just...
They have to get Josh back in there. See if then we have a problem if he does beat Jesse, who takes it off of Josh. So somebody's gonna hold that title for a long time. So
yeah, and also we live in a world where pardon me, where Clay Wilson's got a title shot anytime he wants.
Yes, he does. Clay Wilson has a title shot anytime he wants. Nova now has the same thing as well. So Clay having a title shot anytime he wants is kind of nerve-wracking every show. You never know when something's going to happen. So
does that work in the same way as like like say WWE's Money in the Bank situation, like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, same style thing as the Money in the Bank for sure.
So yeah, literally, it could be the end of a match. It could be just Jesse V's knackered from fighting 10 people, and
100%.
in comes Clay to pick up the scraps, and
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic we live in within the Barrie Wrestling universe. But that, of course, concluded Barrie Wrestling 100 ahead by a century. That's the end of the review, and honestly, I can't explain it. Like, I went into the show with high expectations, and I came out with those met.
Awesome. That's good.
Because at the end of the day, I'm more than just a podcaster. I'm more than a co-host. I am a fan. I'm a wrestling fan through and through. At the very base of my core, I'm a wrestling fan, and have been since like 2003. Like, I'm 26.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And it's just, I love wrestling, and Barrie Wrestling makes me feel sort of good again.
Oh, that's good. You know what? That's our thing is our demographic is families, kids. You know, and a funny story for you and your viewers is if you'll notice it too is during the Sombra Forza match. You know, since we started 10 years ago, we have a very simple rule that our fans know is it's family friendly. So there's no swearing and there's no blood, right? And no swearing has been a rule, and it's something said before shows. Hey, you know, remember, no swearing, no blood, no swearing, no blood. And Sombra didn't mean to. I actually thought it was the funniest thing ever. But he went to give Fuerza a kick, and the room went quiet, and he shouted out "F you," but he said it, and we're such a tight knit group there that if you go and watch the video, you'll see the ref, you'll see Brad Myers laughing and looking over at me, and you'll see fans that have been coming for years all turn their heads and look at me and be like, what are you gonna do? Like, and I'm dying. I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. Like, I had to leave the room because I knew he didn't realize what he did. He was so apologetic afterwards. I'm like, honestly, it was the funniest thing of the night to me. I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, it was but that's us. It's family friendly, and we try to get people to enjoy it like the way you enjoyed it.
Precisely, yeah. I think, you know, once in a blue moon's fine. You know, like, it's
for sure.
and,
it happens.
Exactly. And also, he's not necessarily familiar with the English language.
100%. Yeah.
So it's
completely fair. Totally forgivable. And again, honestly, I thought it made my night. I laughed so hard. It was great.
Precisely. Yeah, and ultimately, as long as you had a good time, and as long as no one's feelings were hurt, and, you know, like, it's all, you know, it's all good. Like, and it's just that, you said, the close-knit community feeling, I guess. Like, and it's just great to see, and even in like video format, it's just great to see.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. We're glad you guys love it. I think it's great that we're catching people's eyes from across the pond. You know, like I think it's great to see. It's very flattering.
And the main thing, like, I wouldn't even seen it if it wasn't for like Born Vertigo or me thinking it was a Welsh promotion.
The Welsh come through again. Good for them.
It's something I can't live down, but it's also a great thing to say.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's fantastic.
But no, of course, that's the end of this review. Thank you once again for coming on.
Thank you.
And before I go, please make sure to give Shawn a follow and to give Barrie Wrestling a follow. Everything is there underneath his banner there. But also, other than that, everything's will be on in the description below as well. So his Twitter will be there. The Barrie Wrestling Twitter will be there. Sorry, the Barrie Wrestling Twitter will be there. The Instagram, stuff like that. If you want your own on there, feel free to let me know, and I'll put that in there as well. But up to you.
No, that's not great. No, just Barrie Wrestling's fine.
Sweet. And then also above us, we have our own social media as well. So there's our Instagram, our Facebook, our X, and our Twitch. Sorry. Threads is dead. Don't use that. And other than that, of course, you would have seen the fancy new graphics we have. Of course, thank you to the bastard. That's his name. He made them. And thank you, of course, as well to MJ Grayson, the band with MJ Grayson in it. a Titan, a Deity for the new intro that we have. It's absolutely great for the show and great for the intros that we now do. But yeah, other than that, I've plug what I need to plug. And Shawn, thank you once again for coming on and for agreeing to be here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And of course, Barrie Wrestling 100. Here's to 100 more for Barrie Wrestling 200.
Absolutely.
See you guys next one. Peace.
Take care. Go Everton.